guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. Judge finds out, couldn't believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave.
Oh, well, it seems like the courtroom has turned into the latest episode of Law and Order. Judge Hannah Dugan of Milwaukee, Wisconsin is making headlines, not for upholding the law, but allegedly helping an undocumented illegal hombre dodge ICE agents. You cannot make this stuff up.
FBI Director Kash Patel says a U.S. judge has been arrested for obstructing an immigration operation.
Just a few minutes ago this morning is that just now the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse. Eduardo Flores Ruiz is the name that the FBI director puts out there about that subject, allowing the subject to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. So
Judge Dugan is facing federal charges for obstruction of concealing an individual. She supposedly guided Eduardo Flores Ruiz, an undocumented illegal hombre with pending battery charges, out the side door of her courtroom to avoid ICE agents. And these ICE agents were waiting to arrest him. This is a scene from a Lifetime drama.
Reports that today's arrest of a judge marks the second such case in the last 24 hours. A former New Mexico judge and his wife were taken into custody yesterday. Federal agents arresting them for harboring a suspected Tren de Aragua gang member in their guest house.
Says despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him.
Is this what we've come to? A judge being arrested by the FBI. A judge in Wisconsin was arrested by the FBI. They're accusing her of at least misleading ICE agents or throwing them off the trail of someone that they deem to be an illegal alien, as they call them, or an undocumented person. It's really scary. Kash Patel was behind it. He put up a tweet. He has since deleted it. I want to know what's going on. Is this where we're living in a time where you can detain judges because they're not doing what you want them to do? What happened to the independence of the judiciary?
According to reports, on April 18th, ICE agents were present in Milwaukee, Wisconsin County Courthouse to detain Flores Ruiz. After his hearing, Judge Dugan allegedly confronted the agents about their lack of judicial warrant and then directed them to speak with the chief judge. Meanwhile, Judge Dugan did a little something. She escorted Flores Ruiz, that is a tongue twister, by the way, and his attorney through the restricted jury door, allowing them to exit the building unnoticed. This is like a spy thriller. Flores Ruiz was later apprehended after a brief on-foot chase. This is the story right now. Now let's talk about the implications for this particular judge. Judges are expected to be impartial. Okay, not participants in committing criminal acts. If these allegations are true, which they seem to be true, Judge Dugan's actions could be seen as significant overstep.
This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Potentially undermining the very legal system that she was sworn to protect, okay? It is a balancing act here between ensuring due process and not impeding against law enforcement. This arrest, definitely following the arrest of the New Mexican judge who was housing the illegal hombre in his house, by the way. Okay, this sparks an absolute firestorm across the intrawebs. Supporters argue that Judge Dugan was protecting the rights of the accused and standing up against aggressive immigration enforcement tactics.
Proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
I want to know what you guys think about this. I think this is a definite overreach over this. Critics, however, across the intraweb are viewing her actions as a blatant disregard for the law. This is my personal opinion also. She definitely is disregarding the law, setting a dangerous, absolute dangerous precedent in the judiciary system.
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
Pam Bondi, Bongino, Kash Patel, they are, we're finally seeing these arrests coming along, and we're finally seeing where these judges, where their alliances lie. And based on these past arrests here, it looks like these judges are siding with illegal hombres, okay? And if they are doing this, inside the courtroom, if they're housing hombres, if they're escorting hombres through the back door, through the private door, what else are they doing, or what else have they been doing? This is what I want to know. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. I'm just excited that we are seeing some arrests. Pam Bondi has openly stated, hey, we are doing some investigation. Dan Bongino says, hey, we are doing some investigation. Kash Patel says, hey, we are doing some investigations, and arrests are coming. And I'm kind of liking it, to be honest with you guys, especially if they're doing shady stuff like this. I want to open up the files and see what other shady stuff they're getting into. Drop it down. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.